This is the testimony of Aaron Purser Part 1. In the early morning hours of Wednesday, June 26, 2013, I was given a vision I believe was from God. The following is the exact transcript of the vision, and I have done all I can to write down every detail exactly as I saw it. Thus begins my journey. I found myself in a green field with 4 others around me. There was a clearing in the field and the trees were all around off in the distance. As we circled around, the ground opened up in front of us in a black circle. I could not see the bottom of the hole and was frightened by this. I recognized one of the 4 people as Jesus, but I could not make out any of the other faces. Jesus said, "I am going to send you into the hole," and I pleaded, "Oh, no Lord, I don't want to go down there." Before I could say anything more, I was descending into the hole and was moving very quickly. When I landed, I was shocked that my legs had held up to the fall, and by all accounts, I was fine with no broken bones. I quickly realized I had fallen into hell. I landed in a pit that was about 30 feet down. The walls were black and there was a fiery liquid pool about the size of a backyard swimming pool. Around the pool was about 5 feet or so of more black ground. I call it ground as it was not dirt, but was squishy and seemed to be filled with bugs, beetles, and such. There is no light in hell. There was only the light from the fire and the reflections of the fire in the smoke. I looked around and saw the bodies of humans lying on the ground. All of them were in various states of decomposition. None was moving, none was speaking, and none appeared to be breathing. As I looked around at these bodies, a creature from the other side of the pool saw me up and moving around and very quickly ran towards me around the pool. I could at first only see the outline in the darkness, but when he got to me, I could clearly see his skin was red and he had enormous muscles. His jaw was large and full of sharp teeth. He carried a glowing red pitchfork, which was about 9 feet tall, and he himself was about 10 to 12 feet tall. As he approached, I froze. I could not run or move in time, and he speared me right in the chest below my ribs with the pitchfork. The pitchfork was still hot from the last soul he drowned. I felt the intense heat from the middle spike of the fork pierce my heart, and the outer 2 spikes felt like they burst my lungs and I could not breathe. I must not have weighed a thing to him as he lifted me high into the air easily and slammed me face up into the fire pool so my back hit first. He pushed me all the way under and I was submerged about 5 feet or more down under the liquid, and he held me there. And he held me there. I was very surprised that the liquid was so viscous. The consistency was like that of water but had the appearance of thick lava. It was extremely hot and I knew I was in big trouble now. Horrified, I watched as my arms flailed in front of me catching fire, and there were reds, oranges, and blues coming off my burning flesh. I saw my feet burn off and the muscles and tendons in my arms and legs were strung out and burning like spaghetti. I saw my lips float off in front of me and my ears and nose did the same. I was at a point where my eyes were going into blackness too when I was flung out of the pool by the creature and tossed to the side where the other bodies were. As I lay on the bank of the fire pool, I could hear the roaring laughter of the beasts, and then I knew there were many of them, perhaps legions of them. There were no human voices at all. No one there speaks, ever. Even a grunt or groan is seen as a human comfort to the dark side in this putrid place. If such is heard, the creatures either pierce the lungs again with the pitchfork and move on, or go ahead and dunk you again. When I was there on the bank of the fire pool, I could feel the vile flesh-eating beetles, snakes, scorpions, bugs, and any other creeping crawling thing found on earth feeding on my carcass. I looked down and could see a coral snake moving through my ribcage into my forearm and another slithering between my bones. I looked at the persons next to me and their faces had been burned unrecognizable. Although they were in their bodies somewhere, they were gone and I could tell they had been here for a very long time. I looked deep into their souls' eyes and was terrified at the look in them, as it was hollow and expressed utter hopelessness, desolation, and abysmal abandonment from God. There really is no way to describe them other than picture the worst down and out living soul you can think of on earth, even the worst of the worst, the most drug addicted, homeless, destitute person's eyes you can imagine, and then multiply it by 100 and you may get close. There is no hope left once you are in hell, ever. I also noticed that we were all not laying there decomposing, but rather we were regenerating as our bodies needed a little time to regenerate, so the next time we would feel the same amount of pain or more. As I regenerated, I watched as the other humans who regenerated before me were picked up one by the creature with the pitchfork and were slammed into the pool. Each time someone is slammed into the pool, the creatures laugh. They laugh harder every time someone is thrown in, and they experience more pain. The better the job they do, the louder they laugh. The creatures never get tired, they never take a break, they never sleep, they never eat. They just continue this routine forever to please their master Satan and hope their laughter will be heard by Satan and that it will please him. When they are finished with pushing the souls under, they pull them back out and lay them down on the ground. Then the limbs and heads fall off the soul's body, and the firewater pours out of their throats and chest cavities where their hearts had been. The firewater spills out of the bodies all over the banks and sometimes pours down onto the other souls laying there regenerating. Now it had come to be my turn again, and instead of standing up like when I arrived, I was laying down on the side where I had been tossed. No one gets back up after this. They all lay there in pain and being eaten until they regenerate. Then the creature came back to me. He didn't say a word and just thrust the pitchfork into my chest again and lifted me up. I could hear my lungs sizzle and could not take a breath. This time he spun me over so I would enter head first. He slammed me into the pool, and the same occurred as I saw the burning of my arms, hands, legs, and feet in reds, oranges, and blues. I flailed around trying to get the fire to stop or to somehow save myself, to no avail. No matter how hard I tried, I just kept burning. There was no escape and no way back up to the surface until the creature pulls you out of the fiery water. I eventually stopped flailing. I was so burned, decomposed, and was pulled out of the fire pool and tossed aside to be eaten by the flesh-eating bugs again and to regenerate again. I also noticed as you regenerate you feel everything, all the bites, the venoms, and poisons, the lava dripping on you, the diseases filling your body from the contaminated ground, everything. This whole process takes only about 10 minutes to complete. So the people there are experiencing this about 6 times an hour for eternity. This is the end of part 1. Subscribe to our channel and continue watching this insightful testimony on part 2.